gamers, and welcome to episode 449 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for March 16th, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
Not much, man. Just getting ready into the spring weather we're about to have. When is the first day of spring?
That's a good question.
Like we're getting some warm weather. We had some like really warm weather this week, man.
Oh, March 19th, so next Tuesday.
Okay, so yeah, man, spring is almost here, man.
It's definitely
we
feeling
already
like
had
it.
our fall. I mean, I'm about to say fall forward, or spring forward.
Yep.
Tom
Stole our hour from us, Dominic.
I always hate it. I know you say you like it. You always want more daylight. I always say I always want more night, because I'm a vampire. But but yeah, because I was like, man, it's freaking still so much light out at round 5. I don't like it. Yeah. So I was gonna get right to it. So in sports, man, a lot happened. Football. I know there's been a lot of free agency acquisitions for teams because free agency opened up on one of those dates.
Mm-hmm.
I know we did a lot. We have a lot of players, so I hope that works out for us. I'm not going to go on specifics because there's a lot of big news on there, but I haven't really followed it like really closely. I've heard of things. I know that Ravens did get Derrick Henry, so that's one of the best running backs in the league. So good for him, man, and good for the Ravens. They got that. I guess, like someone said, well, he said it's only a big deal. I mean, it's like, I guess if the coach says run the ball, it'll be great. I mean, that seems like, 'cause that's the thing. The thing is like having Derrick Henry to me. I mean, that's great because that's like a 1-2 punch of like having him and Lamar Jackson, like how to stop that with the read option. But it's not like I don't think it's needed. It was needed. Like I think Ravens were a good enough team last year to win it. I'm not saying don't pick up Derrick Henry. I'm just saying that I feel like the coaches got to call the right call because they didn't run the ball.
Right.
They chose not to run the ball against the Chiefs. That's why they lost. I believe that. I believe if they ran the ball against the Chiefs, they would have won. They chose not to. Like attaining Derrick Henry, what, that changes it now? Now they say, oh, we're going to run the ball now because we got Derrick Henry. That's like they had a good enough running backs to do that last year. Last season. So I don't know. It's really, I feel like that's the coach lost the game. I feel like the coach lost that game. So, this is great. On paper, this looks great. I just hope they don't come in no situation like they did last year. The playoffs where they just change their whole fucking game plan and choose to pass the ball all the time. Now that'd be really dumb to run freaking pass it because like, hey, you pay this man Derrick Henry, you got this one of the best running backs. Like, why would you pass it? Why would you like force a pass anyway? Unless you had to. So anyway, I know Washington picked up a running back too, Austin Eckler, who's pretty good. He came from San Diego. They picked up a lot of people though. It's been a lot of movement around. I think the Cowboys are like the only team so far. That hasn't really done anything huge, and I know some people were like upset about that. Like even Cowboys fans, like, we didn't pick up people, or they didn't pick up like certain backs, because they got one of their backs, Tony Pollard, is gone. I don't know if they released him or I don't know with that, but he's not there anymore. So, but I just feel like Cowboys, they had a team they had enough to win. They just didn't. They just didn't. I don't think it's like a piece that can really do it. It might be coaching. I feel like at this point, if you can't win with this team, it's not a piece. I think it's just got to be broken down. You just got to rebuild. Yeah, that's what I'm really going to say on that. Because like football off season, there's a lot there if you're into it. Like I'm just not into it like I used to be. So I just hear the news, from friends and family who watches, who looks at that stuff. So I get it. So I hear like, and then I might see it on my timeline too, because I do follow baseball stuff. So I see all kinds of sports up there. So but yeah, it's been a cool off season for football, man. Like a lot of changes around, like what's going on. Oh, and also with what's his name? The I forget his name. Russell Wilson. He's on the Steelers, and I think he's getting. Yeah, I think the Broncos still have to pay him. So that like, good
Double
for him.
checks, hell yeah.
Good for him. You know what? I mean, God darn. Like, you can say what you want. Like, oh man, this man, like he goes to another team and doesn't do well and still getting paid. And legally, they gotta do it. So, oh well. I mean, it happens. But yeah, lucky break, man. You know, he's getting 2 checks. God darn, man. All right, so like baseball, I know we're still going to spring training. Orioles, they've been looking all right. I know they had some losses, but win losses doesn't really matter in spring training. It's really development. So I haven't been listening to any news particularly. I just look at tweets to see what players are doing or there's some injury or something. So I honestly don't know what's the real talk on them. Because really nothing. I mean, I don't really watch Masson. I ain't gonna watch Masson probably until the game, like official season starts. And MLB Network, I haven't been really looking at that. I don't really have it. I don't really. Because I don't really see MLB Network unless I do it illegally. But I just don't feel like going through that. So I don't really know what's the news on that. And ESPN don't even do baseball. Don't talk about baseball much anymore. So I honestly don't know what's like the talk of baseball really around the league. I just know a little bit of the Orioles and not even much on that. So I just really can't wait for the season to start. That's really what it is for me. I can't wait to watch these games and see how this team do. Basketball, it's the battle for last place. We got the Pistons and the Wizards both tied with the worst record. They been kind of going back and forth because at one point Pistons had the lead over the Wizards and then they lost, so then they tied again. Yeah, it's going to come down to it for the second to last game of the season for probably both of those teams to see who's going to be last place, who's going to get the most ping pong balls for the draft lottery, Daniel. That's what's going to come down to. That's why I don't care about being last place, because I like it's a lottery, so there's a chance you still could get the first pick,
right? Even
if you're not last place. So that's not a big deal. I mean, you just get more balls. Like you get more balls.
Yeah, higher
the worse
chance.
you are.
Yeah.
But that's whatever. I'm like I'd rather, like, since I know we're going to be either the worst or second worst team. I'll go for the win. I'll go for winning then. But the Wizards suck. They really suck ass. I mean, they're bad, man. Like some of these games, like the last few games I did watch, it was just they started out bad. So it was like, darn, it's not even fun to watch, man. So at least some of your games, even though y'all lost, at least you started out like enjoyable to watch, and then y'all just suck in the half. But just start off in the beginning. March Madness has really started. You got the conference tournaments happening for the men's. There's some women's going on, but all the women's really happened last weekend, like the big divisions, conferences. So Maryland, they lost their second game. They won the first game, lost the second game to Wisconsin. So they're not. I don't even think they're going to get an NIT because they have a losing record. So Maryland, I think the men's are done. I know Georgetown is done, so that's another local school. I don't really mean local schools. I don't think there is any local schools that's still in it. I think everybody lost. I think everybody has lost, man. Darn. I think Howard is still in. Yeah, Howard beat Norfolk State. That's some of my family's alumni, and they were number one in their conference, man. So darn, they lost to them. But yeah, Maryland area, man. I heard nobody root for. Honestly, yeah, I don't have anybody to really root for. I know Duke lost their first game; they got upset. There was another team, number one team, that lost. Two, I just can't think of it. But yeah, as of right now, it's like by the time you hear this podcast, the bracket should be set. Like that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the 68 team bracket. Always love March Madness, like how chaotic it is, and like teams going through. Like it's fun. It's still like one of the most fun playoffs to watch to me. Other than that, yeah, that is it. I can't think of anything else that happened. So what's going on in wrestling?
All right, Dominic. So the biggest thing this week is coming out of AEW. Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, her new name, is officially signed with AEW. That was announced at their show on Wednesday, so that's exciting. You know, she was working kind of independently, did some shows for New Japan, and then she got injured, unfortunately. So it seemed like, people were unsure if she was going to end up back in WWE. It sounded like there was a push for that to happen kind of around the beginning of this year. But it seemed like, for the most part, it was basically a given that she was ending up in AEW. And then once they announced the show in Boston, they very heavily alluded to it, much in the same manner that they did with CM Punk in Chicago. So it was cool to see her get a very similar treatment to someone they clearly, valued as a star in CM Punk before all the incidences that happened there. Along with that, they actually had a women's match in the main event. So maybe this is bringing a much needed change for them to kind of shake things up with their women's division and get some more eyes on it. So that should be interesting. They haven't really, said what, her first match or anything is going to be yet, but that's really cool. WWE's kind of still just in cruise control leading into WrestleMania. A couple more matches have been announced. As of SmackDown last night, they announced that Logan Paul, who is currently the United States champion, will be facing Randy Orton and Kevin Owens in a triple threat match. Then like AJ Styles will be facing LA Knight. So that should be fun. This WrestleMania card is pretty stacked, in addition to, of course, The Rock returning for his tag team match with Roman Reigns, and all the championship matches they're having. There's also Shayna Baszler, who is a performer in WWE and a former MMA fighter. So she's got some like legit cred to her. There's an indie show that's happened, I don't know about every year, but it's been pretty consistent. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, which is it's not quite as violent as it sounds, but it is sponsored by GCW, I believe. And Josh Barnett is a MMA guy as well. And they basically have like more quote unquote legit style matches. Like I don't think the ring has ropes, and it's basically like submission or pass out or something like that is the finish rules, and they're actually letting her work that event. WWE is, and it's really kind of cool seeing WWE talent be able to work some of these kind of smaller shows, especially because this is happening during WrestleMania weekend. So whenever they do WrestleMania, basically like every promotion that's mid-size or smaller has a show within the region, so that all these wrestling fans that are traveling from around the world, basically they can get their money off of that. So in Philly during WrestleMania weekend, this event's happening, and for someone like Shayna Baszler, who doesn't necessarily have a spot on WrestleMania, it's pretty cool that she can go off and kind of get a check elsewhere as well. So it's nice to see that, like in the post Vince McMahon era, maybe we're seeing WWE open to allowing their talent outside of the WWE kind of bubble that we've seen in the past.
Okay, yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
To see. And so no other news on any thing with Vince McMahon and all that situation.
No, still nothing new that I've seen necessarily. Vince has
Oh, okay.
sold some stock, and I think it's basically just. Oh no, that's not entirely true. I guess there's some new news that came out. Basically, in that lawsuit, there were a couple of people that went unnamed. Basically, like WWE Exec 1 and WWE Exec 2, as they were named in the filing. And
God, they said my name down yet?
It's not yet. It's been reported that Nick Khan was one of those people. Nick Khan is the current CEO of WWE, and it doesn't necessarily implicate him in knowing of the relationship, but it also doesn't say that he didn't know anything about it. It's not alleging that he had any parts of the like sexual assault stuff that is being placed on Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. But it is saying that, there is potential that he knew of the nature of the relationship. Miss Grant, the woman who's alleging these things, her relationship with Vince McMahon, and whether that be he knew the levels of depravity that were happening, or whether it was just, this is Vince's, side piece basically. And, so we got to make sure that she gets, the treatment that she needs or something like that.
Man, I think Vince McMahon is as innocent as Donald Trump with those allegations. So
okay.
That's all I want to say.
Got it. Take that as you will. Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of been the only new revelation that I've really seen out of it. Thankfully, he has been quiet in the media. I haven't seen any sort of comments or anything from him, which I'm sure his lawyers have advised at this point. And basically TKO is like trying to distance themselves as much from Vince as possible. So that's what's going on there.
All right. So let's get into what we've been watching. So I watched this new series by Guy Ritchie, which is based, I guess it's, I don't know if it's just like a new gentleman, because I didn't see the Gentleman movie. So I don't know if it's related or just, a new Gentleman, but it's just a series. Mm-hmm. So I watched the series though. The Netflix, the first episode of it. And it's pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, it felt like a Guy Ritchie movie. It's a lot of British people talking. And but they also have I forget his name, but he's playing a lot of movies. He was in Breaking Bad.
Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah, I see him here.
Yeah, he's in there. He's the only guy without a British accent that I have heard talking in this movie. And it's about a guy who gets his father's fortune. He takes over, but thing is, his father apparently, he really has no money on the books, but he has stuff under, but he does make money that's off the books because he gave a lot of his land to these people to grow weed, and they do it underground. So they have like all these acres like underground where they just have this big weed lab down there, and he get paid like so much money a year. It's like understanding. Right. So, but it goes through all this stuff because somebody wants to buy the property, which is Lozito, and he wants the property. He's paying for like even way over market price for it. And so the guys realized, like, well, if he wants to land this bad, that must means he knows what's going on.
Right.
But he has a brother that's just a fuck up. And because the brother is actually the oldest and he's supposed to be getting it, but he didn't get it because the father probably knows he's a fuck up. And the brother owes money. So he was really mad because he was going to use the money that he potentially thought he was going to get to pay his debtors off. So now the younger brother has to help him out. Mm. And yeah, it goes to all this shit, man. It's crazy. But I enjoyed the first episode, and I forgot there was a movie, honestly, because when I typed in The Gentleman just to see what people thought of it, I saw a movie, and I was like, oh, I said, okay. So, was like, because I saw Guy Ritchie at the end. Because honestly, I didn't know who made the movie. Made the show. And when I saw Guy Ritchie, I was like, yeah, it just does feel like a Guy Ritchie movie. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So he directed it and he wrote it. I said, okay. And he had done a movie. So I was like, oh, I might check the movie out. So, yeah, it was all right. It was all right series. I felt like I watched something else. Oh, yes. I watched the movie Poor Things.
Oh, how was that? I've heard good things.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
I was shocked that I liked it because I honestly did not know what it was about.
Yeah.
I thought I honestly didn't know what it's about. It stars Emma Stone. It got Mark Ruffalo, William Dafoe, and others. Carmichael's in there too.
Oh, okay.
He is Rami Youssef. I seen him in something. I just don't know what, but he was good in this. I liked him in this. I think it's Rami. I forget. So Emma Stone is this. She's basically like Frankenstein's monster. She is like the woman who died. Like a woman died. Apparently, she was pregnant. So William Dafoe, who seems like he's Frankenstein, he takes the baby brain out and put it in the mother's head.
Oh wow!
So now she's basically in the mother, but she grows like she's growing pretty fast, like the brain, like as for functioning, because her body's already grown. And that's when the assistant, played by Youssef, he comes and helps her out and things of that nature. And it's basically her, and then she becoming like understanding the world and stuff like that, like understanding herself and what the world means and how to like understanding who she is and independence and stuff like that. But it's funny as hell because it's very sexual too, because she at one point like she discovers herself or something. But she has no really etiquette or anything, so she just blurts stuff out. And plus William Dafoe's character, he's like this mad scientist, so he doesn't really have etiquette either. So like the maid, she came to her maid and was like, hey, look, I discovered something. He said, let me show you. She goes to grab the lady. The lady's like, what? Well, so almost like Donald Trump when he used to grab those women. But and then he said, no, you can't do that. I said, no, let me show you. And then she go grab a cucumber. He's like, no, you can't do that. He said, you can't. It's funny, man, because it's like she's a child in a woman's body, but her mind is developing really fast, and it's with her already aged body. And then she goes off with Mark Ruffalo, and that's where she really gets crazy. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's a good movie, though. It's a very good movie. It's on Hulu.
Oh, that's
if you have Hulu. Okay. Yeah, so you can check it out there or other places, out in the open seas. I heard, indeed. Yeah, but I thought it was pretty funny, man. I was surprised. I thought it was like some type of period piece and like Pride and Prejudice or some shit, honestly, yo. I thought it was something like that and like Downtown Abbey shit, and I was like, man, I don't want to see nothing. But no, it actually reminds me, and it's not his movie, but somehow, like, because of the environments, like a Wes Anderson,
really?
Anderson.
Okay.
Wes Anderson, but I was trying to say like his kind of movie,
Wes Anderson-esque movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's because like they say locations, but they're not. I don't think they're ever really on location. Like they seem like sets in the back. You can kind of tell, but it's nice. I like it. Like when they're in the ocean, you can tell like, oh, they're not really on the ocean. This is fake, and it's like in the studio. But it's the nice sets pieces they have. That's like almost like stagey, but not stagey. I like that, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the silliness of it, and I was surprised. So Emma Stone, she did win an Oscar for it. Oh,
did she?
Good for her. I know people were upset about the woman from the movie we saw. What's it called? The Indian movie?
Oh,
the Native American movie.
The Flowers of
So yeah,
Yeah.
Flowers. 'Cause there's a long title. But it's but the Flowers movie and a long movie. That she didn't win. But like someone said, it's like it's. I mean, honestly, I didn't see the movie, so I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think they both were good, but I can't get mad at Emma Stone won after seeing this movie.
Yeah,
after seeing both play, I can't get mad at her winning it. Mark Ruffalo was really good too. I liked him.
Yeah,
he was,
and it almost sounds like it's a more showy performance too, because like she was very good in The Killing of the Flower Moon, but at the same time, it was very understated. Like there wasn't a lot for her to do. It felt like everything was kind of happening around her.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. All right, and I think that's it. So, what did you watch?
All right, so I watched Oppenheimer finally. That's on Peacock now.
You saw the movie.
I saw the movie.
The best movie of the year, the Oscar-winning movie.
Yeah. Initially, I will say that I was kind of like indifferent on it. Like it probably
get the hell off of here. Get out of here. I don't want to hear your opinion.
Probably
I don't
like
care.
30 minutes in or so. But then it started to come together a little bit more because like initially and throughout the movie, it's jumping a lot back and forth between different timelines. And that just seems kind of like a Nolan thing at this point. But it was initially kind of confusing for me. Like it wasn't confusing. It just wasn't, it didn't feel like there was a good flow there, but it pretty quickly kind of, or at least I guess I should say quickly picked it up. Cause like, I don't think it's a fault of the movie. I think it's very well done.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know what you meant because watching the movie when I was watching the movie, I saw that like kind of at first it didn't feel like it felt kind of like what the heck is going on, like kind of how it was jumping back from time, but yeah, I totally get it. I get what you're saying.
It definitely like settles in, and then you start to follow it a little more, and it's like, oh, okay, he's going through this clearance process, and they're digging up stuff from his past, but yeah, I mean the performances in it are incredible. It's very well written.
The music is good.
Yeah, and it's definitely just, a very quality film. It's not necessarily something that I'm dying to go back and watch again, but that's kind of how some of those more prestigious films are. It definitely,
that's how I feel.
Yeah, it definitely makes me want to go back and visit Dunkirk and Interstellar though, because I still haven't seen. Well, I haven't seen Tenet either, but I've heard. Those two sound like they're more interesting.
You haven't seen Interstellar, have you?
No, that's what I was saying. I need to go to that. Yeah. So, yeah, it definitely makes me want to go back and revisit some of his movies that I've missed. But, yeah, I mean... Sorry.
You heard me. Okay. So you heard. I didn't think I was going to let you go. I was going to let you keep going.
You can go ahead.
Okay. I think Interstellar was like maybe I missed it because I was looking at it when it came out, and then it came out and I didn't hear nothing about it, and I forgot about it. And I think I forgot why I chose to watch it. I think I was looking up movies to watch, and because I saw it like after it's been out in the theaters, and it's probably been out for a while on Blu-ray, whatever, by the time I watched it. And because I think I totally forgot about that movie, and then when I watched it, I was like, wow, I really like this movie. But I was like, I didn't really hear no fanfare with it though. I feel like this is one of his underrated books, but I feel it was underrated then, because I feel like, man, this is pretty damn good. I was like, this is a good like sci-fi flick, and very heartwarming too. I was surprised. I mean, I was surprised I really didn't hear much from it. Man, maybe I just wasn't. I mean, I wasn't looking, but I just thought I heard somebody talk about it. But yeah, nobody. I didn't really hear. I didn't feel like I heard a lot of people talking about it when the movie came out, man. But I saw the reviews. They're not high, but still, I still thought people who are just fan of Nolan. Maybe they're just in the. I just wasn't in their echo chamber, So so I did. It didn't come out. It didn't come out the chamber. It just stood in there. It stood in there. So they were all talking about it, but nobody else cared.
It also kind of makes me
but
like
yeah.
seeing Cillian Murphy's performance. It kind of makes me want to look at Peaky Blinders too, which I know you've heaped tons of praise on. So
Oh man, he is awesome in there.
Yeah.
I mean, Cillian Murphy, yeah, he's pretty damn good.
he really is.
But yeah, Peaky Blinders, man. He really shined. He really shined in that, man.
Who won the Best Actor Oscar?
The Barbie guy. It's like I was joking. I don't think he did. Who won Best Actor? I don't know.
Let's see. They got an easy thing.
You said Ryan Reynolds.
It was Cillian Murphy that won. No.
Okay, Cillian Murphy did. Oh yeah.
No.
Okay. You mean
Gosling.
good looking guy? Yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
I mean, they're both good looking.
I was gonna say, what do you mean? And supporting actor was Robert Downey Jr., also from Oppenheimer, who was like, I had seen that he was in there, but I didn't realize like what role he played in that movie. And yeah, that was a very good performance from Robert Downey Jr. Yes. So, although like Robert De Niro, he was very good in
a better man.
Killers of the Flower Moon too. So that
was
one's
good
a hard one.
in Flower Moon?
Robert De Niro.
Oh, Robert De Niro. Oh yes, Robert De Niro was man. I think darn, that's man. I don't know. I think I like Robert De Niro.
He played a more prominent role. I feel like in that movie, like he was there more. Because I was mainly interested to see if they had Leonardo DiCaprio on here at all, and no, he didn't get nominated. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because.
Yeah, no, I don't think
his performance. He was good, but like Robert De Niro's performance was
no.
Definitely outshined.
He's the best. Yeah. What they have, he was nominated for supporting.
No. That's what I was looking to see because I wondered where he would fit in there. If he would be in supporting.
I think they would put him in supporting if they was going to nominate him. But I feel like, because I don't know, because I guess they would say, but Leonardo DiCaprio is leading. But I feel like. I think you can have two leads.
Yeah.
I think you can have two leads in a movie. But I don't think movies really be doing that. They don't want to do that category.
No, I think they basically nominate who they think will, in the category they think they'll win. Like you could make the argument that Robert De Niro was kind of a lead actor in that movie, but is he going to, beat out Cillian Murphy for that? Probably not,
No.
So.
But I feel like just being nominated in the lead should be enough.
Also, like Bradley Cooper in The Maestro. I don't know if I've even heard of that movie, and it makes me interested to see what that actually is. I've heard of The Holdovers. Paul Giamatti was.
Oh yeah, I actually watched some of that.
Did you?
Like I skimmed it. I
think that's on
watch
Max.
It seemed pretty all right. It seemed pretty right. That is actually on something I think you had, Peacock.
Is it? Okay. I saw it somewhere because I thought it was Max because I finished watching something, but you're right. You're right. I think it's Peacock because I finished watching Oppenheimer and then I think it had a like banner saying like The Holdovers. So I might watch that. I've been working out in the morning and watching stuff while I'm doing that. And I've been watching Wonka. I'm not through that yet, but so far I've enjoyed what I've watched of that. It's a musical though, so I don't know that it's for everybody.
Yeah, I heard it was a musical. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not mind blowing or anything, but it's fun so far.
Yeah, you know what? If there was high praise for it, I would have. I think I would check it out. But since it was a high praise, I'm not gonna check it out.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping it was though. I was hoping it was.
Yeah.
Like really good.
I will say this, as far as I am into it right now, it's a hell of a lot better than the Johnny Depp one, which isn't really saying much, but it's saying something.
Okay. Well, then that's good. That's good then.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and then did you want to talk about Monarch this week, or did you want to hold off until you finish?
I mean, I guess we can. I didn't watch the last episode yet, but I did see. Okay, spoiler alert. Well, before I get spoiler, I enjoy the series.
Yeah,
I enjoy overall. It's a cool sci-fi series. I will say that not that the stuff that doesn't do with the science, like the actual the relationships of the characters and that nature, they're good. It's fine. Like I'm okay with the stories of the characters. For some reason, I just don't care much.
I don't think they're
just
hitting
really,
as well as they seemed like they were going to, like, initially, because I feel like that's what at least I was praising, like, after watching the first 3 episodes. It's like, oh yeah, I like the way they interact with each other, and then, like, throughout the series, it was kind of like, these guys are not really interesting. But I'll say this, the back in time stuff, the older stuff, I feel like those 3 characters interacting with each other was far more compelling.
I like that
than any
better.
of the modern
I like
stuff.
yes, I like that. Like to a point where I wish that was more of the focus. While that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, because I do like the interaction with the past characters so much more than the modern. And it's just it's just the outside of other stuff that that's what really throws the flow off for me. But the whole science, like trying to understand these monsters and things of that nature, I think that's pretty cool. I wish it was more. Actually, I wish it was more of that. I feel like there isn't enough of it really explaining like that stuff. I know they're trying to figure it out, but I wish it was more the mystery. I wish it was more mystery. But understanding, because right now it's just like I'm not understanding what is happening. Like, they go to this other world. I mean, they finally get to the part of the other world. I think that I kind of think that probably took too long. Because I'm not just to get to the other world, but just to understand. Like, can somebody just explain like why is there a hollow world, and why this is the monsters world, but why did it come to our world then?
Right.
Like, what's going on? Like, what's the harmony between these two worlds? And I'm just hoping that can be explained, and because that's really the mystery I really wanted to get to, really understanding, and like what is what are these monsters? Like, why are they here? And I wanted more of the science of that, and like the finding of that in a way. I wanted to kind of like how they do, like if you ever watch Fringe, kind of like how they do it. Like, yes, you can have, because you need like the human type of relationships and stuff in it. But I also want more of the science, and I don't think I got enough of the science. I got more of the chasing and the running to find like their father and things, and them being chased by somebody, but not the actual science. And I think that's what really was missing from the show. You want to say anything?
No, I think you're right there on it for me. I enjoyed it overall. I have finished it, and maybe we'll talk about it a little more once we get to that final episode. But yeah, there's something lacking there that if I were to commit myself to like watching the second season, like I would hope that there's more of that, you know?
Yeah, because I don't need the monster battle stuff is for the movies. I can have that for the movies. And like, I wanted this to be more of the in-depth of understanding. I thought it was going to be like more understanding of the monsters.
Yeah.
That's what I thought this show was. Like how it started out with them looking for the father. I mean, that was, I didn't even realize that, but I mean, it was fine. It's like, they're trying to find out what their father is. But I thought it was going to be something like where
it would lead them to a bigger, revelation about the monsters. Yeah.
And still with the, I mean, like I said, maybe I'll find more in this last episode, but I just think I feel kind of a little anticlimactic with only, like you spend this all the time trying to find the father, then they find him, and the way he reacts is it's just, I don't know, it's kind of shitty. I mean, it's just whatever. He said, y'all were never supposed to find each other. That's like, oh yeah, okay, all right, jackass. It happened.
I did all this just to make sure that you guys didn't find out, but. Whatever. Guess we're here now.
It's like so you just do the same mistakes that your parents did. That makes sense. There you go. Keep it going. Keep it going. Your parents hiding everything. And I ain't talking about you just cheating. Like that's a personal thing. But the monarch thing,
Yeah.
like you going off and people think you dead, like leave your family worried like that, man. It's like, what you doing? All right, so I guess we get to what we've been playing. So you can start off.
All right, so I did finish off the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo. The gameplay of that actually appeared in the last video. That basically takes you through the end of the Nibelheim region, and then Sephiroth making the discovery about himself that he's some sort of monster, and then he just goes crazy.
He's a sperm tube baby. That's what he learned, and yes, that's
maybe overreacted to that, Dominic, a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, come on, man. There's a lot of children who are, you just come to terms with it, man. Yep. There are programs to help people with that stuff. Somebody should have gave him a pamphlet.
Yes.
Somebody should have gave him.
And all those books at the bottom of that mansion, he was not unable to find one of those pamphlets. No. Yeah, so that was cool seeing that moment that's, pretty iconic from that first game being included in that demo as kind of the stinger, because, it makes you keep wanting to play. And I did read that the demo in the progress in the demo does carry over into the main game if you start playing that. So that's cool, because I would not want to revisit that, especially, I will say this, like the end of that section where you're like experiencing Sephiroth's destruction and going through the village. It's one of those like kind of walk and talk situations that's like, we really first saw in Gears of War, where it's like, all right, we're going to slow the pace of your ability to move down. And in this case, it's literally to a crawl, because you're crawling and just like trying to soak in the environment. And it's like, okay, this is going on too much now.
Yeah.
So that was a little much. So if I had to redo that again, I would not be particularly happy about that. And then it was the free weekend for Mortal Kombat 1 last week, so I downloaded that and played that on the PlayStation 5. That was a huge download, like 160 some gigs, which feels a little bit absurd.
It is absurd.
It was a little bit smaller on the PC, I believe you said, like 150 or 130 or something like that. Yeah, I forget
what it was, but
which is weird. That aside, it's a beautiful looking game. I mean, we've seen that game and we know what it looks like. It runs well. I played basically the first 2 chapters of the story mode is what you could play in that, and that's what I played. You played as Johnny Cage, and who did you play first? Kung Lao.
Yeah, right? I'm about to say the hat guy.
Yeah. Pre-hat though, like they even kind of allude to him realizing what he could maybe potentially do one day. I liked the story and what they were telling. This is kind of this weird kind of alternate reimagining of the universe now that Liu Kang has become the fire god and has turned back time or made a new timeline or whatever it is. And they're kind of messing with your expectations a little bit. I thought that stuff was interesting. But neither him or Johnny Cage I really was super happy about playing with. Like, they seemed fine.
Johnny. I don't mind Johnny Cage in the other games, but he almost felt better in the other games than this one to me.
There was definitely a higher learning curve, which I didn't have enough time to necessarily put in that it felt like with this game. Because especially now that you have the combo tag team stuff, there wasn't so much of that in the story mode, but the couple of matches of regular multiplayer I played, I was kind of messing around with that stuff. But yeah, I just didn't really find anybody, with the last game with 11, I was super into playing as Scarlet, and I didn't really find anybody yet that I really just felt the flow with in the same way that I did with her in that game. So, I don't know if it'll probably just take more time in playing it and kind of finding the person that I like, which is why I do appreciate the story mode forcing me to play as some of these different characters. Although typically it's just kind of the good guy characters. So I would like to see them expand the story mode stuff a little bit more to maybe include everybody on the roster. That'd be nice.
Oh, and well, since I played on PC and this does not run on my PC
Yeah.
that well at all, man. Like
The
they even
size of it
said,
to
like,
me makes me think, oh, they didn't necessarily spend a lot of time optimizing it, so it doesn't really
I think
surprise me, unfortunately.
yeah, that's probably what it is too. Because honestly, it plays what I thought 11 was going to play on my PC, and 11 plays fine.
Yeah.
But this, yeah, man, this was bad. Like even though the story mode, it'll be lagged, and like you had to stop because it's loading up, and I was like, wow, this is not good. This is good. I said, well, I guess if I ever get this game, I have to either have a better PC or a new gen console, because I won't be playing it through that, or have to hope it's on the cloud somewhere. And that's the thing. Is it even? I think it's available on that other
Oh yeah, that
the other
new one
streaming
we were talking
service.
about, the Boostroid or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be. I think it's available up there. I'm not, but I don't think it's available on GeoForce. What we call it, GeoForce Now. So, I mean that's cool if it is up there, because that seemed like for me, like, yeah, my PC can't do it. Yeah, I'm really behind the times on that. But I mean, I see that it's like, yeah, it seems like a cool Mortal Kombat game. I know some people they complain about the microtransaction stuff. I mean, I'm not a hardcore fighter, so I can't even tell you about like the combat is
hitboxes
not as good or something. Yeah,
invincibility
I don't know,
windows.
but yeah, because it has a lot of mixed reviews and stuff. Like people really compared to like Street Fighter, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't really delved into it much because of the PC, so to really see like if that stuff is really bad. I mean, I can imagine, because it was bad in 11, but 11 was still like, overall it was still a great game. But I mean, that stuff was bad.
Yeah.
I can say that, but Street Fighter, like, play Street Fighter 5, and well, after like Street Fighter 5 now, like where you could get it's pretty damn good. I mean, as far as all the features and stuff it has, but hey, go back to when it first came out, like Street Fighter 5. I mean, that's a sort of game. Now 6, I only played the demo, so I can't really compare. But it sounds like it's all right with that stuff, but it's probably is better than Mortal Kombat. I mean, I wouldn't put it past you, like the microtransactions stuff. But thing is, I like Mortal Kombat's game. I like that whole like just style and everything, just more than Street Fighter though. All right, so let's get to what I've been playing. So I completed Bloodstained Ritual in the night of the night. I forgot what it was.
Ritual of the night.
But yeah, so I completed that game. I almost 100% the map. I don't think I truly 100%. I think it was like 98, 99 or something. But man, I did everything that like really story wise. So, and I got the good ending.
Cool.
Yeah, because that was I would never have figured it out. I would never have figured out how to do get the good ending. I would just think
that
like
complicated.
Well, it's not complicated. It's just that you have to hit the moon at a certain point of the boss fight.
Oh, interesting.
And I would never have known that I was supposed to go hit the moon.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, I think when you talk to somebody, they mention something about that, but I wouldn't have thought. I would just think like it'll be an indicator telling me to do something. I would never think of something like I have to. Oh, you figure out how to do, because, like I said, I haven't really played Castlevania games like that. So I guess that's, if you probably did, you probably know you gotta do shit like that. But thank God there's the internet for these nerds to tell me what the hell to do. Because so I got the I did get the good ending. Yeah, the game is pretty damn good. Yeah, it's I mean, it's a lot of weapons. It's probably don't even need to be that many. I think it's just over abundant of weapons. I know there's some extra modes there, like ball sport stuff, but I said, nah, it's time for me to move on to another game. Put some hours in this game, so I just uninstalled it. because I was getting close to the end on Baldur's Gate 3, and I finished that. So I finished Baldur's Gate 3, at least my first playthrough. I probably play it again on another playthrough some months later. But like when they probably do another update, a big update, and and then I'll just play it. So yeah, the game overall, but the story I think is pretty great. And the ending I chose because because I looked up to see like what kind of endings you can do. It's so many, and just like with so many type of endings you can have, and what characters you can have live or die or change. Like the character I have, spoiler alert, is a tiefling. Tiefling they look like devil creatures. They look like they're from like Satan's like devil spawns and stuff, but they're not. They're not really. They're. I think in a long time ago they were, but they've been so detached from it that like hell that they're not even part of that. I'm sorry, my fault, my phone. So now, like, she's a tiefling, but she was in hell, like, because she was sold to a devil, and she had to be in hell and do everything he says. Like I think they fight battles and things of that nature against other hell, like leaders of hell and stuff like that. So she got out though, but she escaped and she got out, but she had her heart replaced with this engine that it makes her powerful in hell, but outside the world, if it's not taken care of, she'll just blow up. But the reason she's not blowing up is because of that freaking worm that's in your head from that from those like the mind flayers that put in our skulls, because it keeps her from blowing up while it keeps the vampire from, like, he can be in the daytime. Right. So that's the good thing for them, but the bad thing is they went out their heads because they can turn into mind flayers. They turn to those freaking tentacle monsters or shit like that. But so thing is, when I beat the boss, at the end, those things go away. So it was like, so he, like the vampire, he has to go back to hiding in the daylight, but it was a choice, like, oh, she wants to die, because she could go back to hell. Like, you can try to convince her to go back to hell, but I didn't. I did this. Like, what I did was that there was a point where one of us had to be a mind flayer, because that was the only way we could fight and defeat the head brain monster. So I chose her to do it, so she at least can live in our world, but she'll be a mind flayer. But mind flayer, I mean, it has his perks, I mean, you look hideous, but but you're really powerful. I mean, she doesn't have to die, and I made it like her choice. It's her choice. Like, I just switched to her character and said she'll do it, and she said she'll sacrifice to do it. So, I just let her be a mind flayer instead of dying. And I know there's a lot of people said that they think they cut this out, that you probably could have saved it. That was probably part of something they had to cut out. And they think, some people are thinking maybe they might add it, later on, maybe some either DLC or update. I don't know. Because some people say, yeah, they don't like how this story ends with her. It seems a little like it should be something more, like you could help her or convince her or something that didn't end with just these three choices. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's like one of those hard choices. Like, hey, man, this is one of those things where it's just one of those things where, hey, it's fucked up. Like, everybody gets a happy ending. Like, gets a truly, like, just happy ending. But I mean, yes, I do want it, but I also understand if they want that as a story. I'm not sure. But like, it's a different choice you can have for each party member too. Like, depending on what they did. What they have, like, they do have like a little epilogue where everybody meets after 6 months to see how everybody's doing and everything. And it seems like I had a generally good ending with my people. Like, everybody basically lived and had a like, they living and doing somewhat of what they want. Like, even the vampire come to grips of being back to being a regular vampire. But he he learned to embrace it, and plus he's free because first he was locked because a greater vampire owned him, but now he's free to do his own, and he just kills. He said he just kills bad guys and stuff like that. I convinced him to do that because I'm mostly good, and I was mostly good in this scenario of my character. Next time I'm gonna probably be bad. I'm gonna be like a little more violent than the usual. But yeah, man, this game is awesome. This is a good RPG. I did a great job, man. Like for this, the studio. This reminds me just like kind of like Witcher, what the Witcher guys did. Yeah. So, yeah, good on them. I enjoyed it throughout. I played some more Man-Eater. Oh yeah, I can level up more now because yes, Scaly Pete. He was a boss, but he wasn't the final boss. Like he was. Scaly Pete is the main guy, but this is like probably the first time you fought him. So it's what I thought it would be. Like, okay, say I might have to fight Scaly Pete, but I probably have to fight him again. Mm-hmm. Like, it's probably not this is probably like a mid-story thing. So, yeah, you fought him, and then he survives, and then, yeah, I guess you're going to see him again. Because spoiler alert, I think I might have killed his son. I don't know. And then he's going to be mad. He's probably going to be mad about that. But it's really his fault. And actually, I didn't really kill him. It was his fault, because he did something trying to kill me.
Self-defense.
All right, so what else have I played? I played some Persona 4 because I'm trying to get through that, and because I was thinking about starting Reloaded, but I was like, I still got Persona 4 to play, so I guess I check that out. Reloaded is going to be there because I know they got that DLC.
Right.
That's what Game Pass that have coming out and sometimes. So I was like, like, if you with Game Pass, you get the DLC. What they call it? Season pass, for free.
Nice.
So that's cool. Because usually that's the whole caveat. That hey, you got the main game, you gotta pay for the season pass. So I think that's pretty cool that they did that.
Definitely.
So playing Persona 4, it's what's different is that this is actually taking place. Well, no, 3 was kind of like a small town too. Like, yeah, 5 was the only one I played that was in the city. This is in a small town, but it seems more rural, like a more rural town than what 3 was. And this time, it's like you're going into the television this time, into that other world. You know, it was like in 3, it was like midnight. When it turns midnight, the world kind of changes, and like only you can see the world change. Everybody else just sees normal. And then you go into this tower and you climb this. You be going to this tower and fighting monsters. And 4, it looks like you can go into TVs, and it doesn't have to be midnight. Now midnight, what happens at midnight apparently though is that you can see someone who's in trouble, and that you have to help by going into the world. But you have the ability to go into the world at any time. Like going through a television or something like that. I mean, I'm still at the very beginning, so it's probably more understanding of how things work as I go on. And it's a little cartoon character, like in in 5, it was the cat. This one is apparently it's like some big bear thing, which I ain't nothing like a bear. But whatever. Maybe that's what Japanese bears look like. But yeah. So so that thing's in that world, and he's the one who kind of helps you out. Even though he's not really much help, because he even says like, I don't know how to do this. It's like you've been in his world. I said, yeah, but this hasn't happened before, and blah blah blah. So but yeah, it's man, it's fun. I mean, it's a Persona game. I mean, so far I like it. The combat system is more similar to 3 than 5. Yeah, it's very similar. Like almost the I want to say the same. I mean, so far it feels the same. It seems a little different, but I said I just started, so I haven't did a lot of combat yet. So yeah, so I'm in the early stages, but so far, I mean, I'm into that world. Persona world feels like Persona, so yeah, I'm gonna keep playing it. And now I also started Yakuza 5 since I'm gonna get back to that. I did finish 4. So now, in 5, it starts out like Kiro, the main character. He seems like, I don't know, something happened. I guess you'll find out when they do a flashback what happened why did he leave the orphanage and the kids. I mean, it seems like he still sends money back to him though, because he's a taxi driver now. And he always leaves the Yakuza life. Like, he always says, I'm not Yakuza.
Yeah.
But he's always doing something with the Yakuza. Like he's Yakuza. Like, in every fucking game. Like, every time people ask, like, hey, like, people look at him and say, oh, you scared me, so I thought you were Yakuza. Say, no, I'm not Yakuza. I was like, what? And it's like, but that's what he says, I'm a civilian. Because he says, like, yeah, I'm not. He used to be. And, like, I think Zero, then he said, like, I'm going to drop out of that life. But he's always getting brought back in. It's like it's like, why do you keep fighting it? It's like, stop fighting it. Yeah, you're a taxi driver, and so it's actually got taxi driving mini games in here, like, but it's not like Crazy Taxi. Like,
man.
You pick up, you have the passenger, right? You already have it in the car, but you just gotta drive safely. And I don't mean drive safely, it means drive fucking slow and have to stop at traffic lights and not hit people. And I'm like, Jesus. And when you do hit somebody, it backs you up. I wish it would just let you just keep going, because I don't care. I was like, I just want to get past this part. But I had to, oh my God. I said, and then, like, yeah, if you go off and hit something, yeah, it kind of rewinds back. But yeah, I read somewhere, like, this is like one of the biggest Yakuza games. This is like the San Andreas of Yakuza games, as someone said.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of mini game stuff. I was looking, I was like, damn, it's a lot of stuff to do in this game. Because you got street racing. Like, one time you was taking a cop in a cab drive, and then, like, some guy bumped you. Like, this is all cutscene. Car bumped you, and it's like a street racing, and then well, you didn't realize he was a cop. He was like he's like one of those. I guess he was off duty, but he said, "Hey, I'm a he said, I'm like, say, hey, you say, I give you permission to go at him. I think he's talking about, like, go at him, like, oh, knock him off the road or something. No, he said, go race him. And I was like, oh, okay, because there's a street race. So did I do a street racing? And then now that's like a mini game where I can street race these punks, because now they going after. Because they go after civilians and try to street race them or steal their cars. I don't know, man. They're called the Devils or something. Street race Devils. So I got that side quests to do. Then they got the normal side quests they have in all the games. Those funny side quests where you just talk to people and help them out. I'm trying to think the one I did. Let me see. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm still at the beginning of this game, but yeah, it's like, oh, this is gonna be long, because I think you still play about 3 other characters too, just like in the 4th game. I think you don't just play as Kiryu throughout the whole game, I believe. But yeah, man, it's Yakuza game. Visually, you definitely can see the difference between that and 4 and 3, because I don't know when 5 came out. Maybe it came out. Did it come out on the PS4? I don't know if it came on the PS3, because I think those two came on the PS3, so you can tell the difference to the graphics. Like, this one looks like really a lot better than those, and I can see the difference. And I was like, okay, visually, yeah, this looks really good. Or they're using the new engine. I think somebody said they're using the new engine also. So yeah, I was like, okay, I see definitely a big difference between those games. This looked closer to what Zero and Kiwami and the remake of 2, also Kiwami 2 and stuff like that. But not as good, because it's still a little older, but it's definitely a lot better than the other ones. I don't like the save system, which is, that was a save system in 4 and 3. Like, everyone except for, I think they started in 6 when they started doing, at least have auto save at least. Like, because there be some long cutscenes, and then where you get dropped off, like, whatever you get to play the character again, you're not close to the save point. Like, save points are usually around phones. Like, maybe in the building is like a phone somewhere, and then outside it's a phone booth, which it doesn't make sense, because this is I don't know when this game came out, but people have cell phones, and even you have a cell phone, and it's like, why am I going to the phone booth? It's a very archaic system that's really inconvenient, because phone booths aren't all just close by. Like, sometimes these streets be long, man, and I'm like, oh, where's the save? And then I'm like, oh, I gotta walk all the way down here. And then sometimes we're right there I might be somewhere where to do a side quest, but I want to save. It's like I want to save before I start this.
Yeah.
I gotta walk all the way down there because there's no taxi that can take me directly like right there by the phone booth. Like they have their own stops you can stop by, which doesn't make sense because taxis should be able to stop anywhere. But whatever. It's I was like, God, why did they do this? So why didn't they just make a auto save or something, man? Or I could, I don't even care. Let me save anywhere, but just respawn me where the phone booth is. I don't care, just as long as I can save. But yeah, whatever. That's really the frustration with this game. And some of the load times, I was like, this game should not be loading like this sometimes. I was like, come on, man, this game ain't that powerful. It's like, why is I not getting quick ass loads? Yeah. In this. That's my issue with the game, but overall, I mean, so far, I mean, I'm still at the very beginning. I don't hate it. I mean, shit, I played the other games. I know this is going to probably be, I think they heard this is definitely better than 4 and 3, so I'm going to get through this game, even with some of the problems they had in the other games, but
right.
Yeah, I want to see where this story goes with his story, because I do want to play that new game that he came out with before, Like a Dragon. What was it called? Like the Man with No Name or something? What the hell is the shit was called?
Yeah. The Gaiden one.
Yeah. All right, so that's it. So I guess we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we get to the flashback segment.
All right.
And we're back. And then we're flashbacking to 2014. This is the flashback segment. And in 2014, we have a big game that came out. Dark Souls 2 came out. This was huge. Everybody loved Dark Souls except for me. And and apparently you too. But a lot of the gaming world, they really were anticipating this because of the fanfare with Dark Souls 1. And yeah, this the Dark Souls 2, it had good reviews, right?
Yeah. Dark Souls. See, I always forget
91.
now.
Yes,
Dark Souls
91,
2 is another one that was pretty well regarded, and then 3 was the lower point.
I think 3 was kind of it went down. It's still good reviews, but it's not as high as that. But Dark Souls 2, 91 on Metacritic, 92 on PS3, 91 on 360. It's I don't see any low scores for this. They should have had our review up here on this.
0 out of 10. Awful.
But everybody was they love this game. I can't get into it. It's not my type of game, man. But I recognize that everybody loves it, and there's a lot of wrong people out there in the world. That's what I realized. So I was just joking. All right, so another huge game came. It was pretty big for a while, but that's what they were Blizzard games, man. They become big, but they die.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of fall. They kind of like fall in the way. Hearthstone.
Yeah, man.
This Hearthstone here was a Warcraft. Like, this was a big time card game. This is you probably can say almost I mean, there's probably another game, but this is the one. This is the big like kind of really like licensed type of card game that really gets people hooked. That I feel like that's the first one I can really think of.
Yeah, this is definitely the one that kind of blew up the genre.
Yeah, I mean, some people might say, "Oh, well, Pokemon cards and stuff," but that's real cards mainly, and it wasn't the video game. It wasn't the Pokemon card game.
No, the card game wasn't nearly as big as any of those games ever was.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, and like, or some people would probably say Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that. But no. I don't know. I think that's still. I still think that's more anime niche to me. Because I don't think that totally crosses over with Hearthstone.
This definitely had to walk so Marvel Snap could run.
Yeah, exactly. This Hearthstone, because it's like this is like probably the big one as for like not as complicated as those games. Like not to like this is where the rules like people can really comprehend and they can play. And the games don't last that long because those games last long. Those other card games. Like this is where it's like it's quick. You play with some people and then you move on. you build your deck and things of that nature. It's like, hey, easy to learn, but you can really but hard to master, basic kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And yeah, this is like, I feel like was probably the biggest one. Yeah, like you said, to make games like Marvel Snap or like that wrestling one you had.
Oh yeah, the super card. Yeah,
even Mortal Kombat had one that came and gone. Man, there's a lot of card games. I mean, especially on phones, man. But
absolutely.
Yeah, but this was probably this is the start, the jump off.
Yeah, and it had me hooked for quite a bit. I was kind of disappointed that the single player stuff was always locked behind a paywall because I never ended up
that was unfortunate.
committing to it. But I had a lot of fun with it.
I mean, I understand. Like you want to, I get it. It's just that I wish there was like hey, this is free. Like, because especially after it's been so many years, like, hey, this one. The first one is free to try out, and then I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, this is worth actually getting." Because that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid, like, is it worth actually getting?
Was it? That was my concern. Was there like enough content there, or was it just going to be like, oh, people are buying this mostly to get the cards that are included with that set more than anything else because they want to keep playing online?
And what I read was that the story is that. Somebody said it's not that great or anything, so I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not going to bother."
Yeah.
All right. So what we got here? Look, man, we have this was a big week, a big day actually. This is all the same day, on the 11th. Titanfall came out for the Xbox One and Windows. This is like Xbox One really heavy hitter. They had this is their launch window game. Like, this is what they were showing off for this console, man. They were showing how you can you can jump in this bot it was like Call of Duty, running on walls, things of that nature. This is Call of Duty guys respawn. Made a Scrabble game, like you can run on walls and do all this shit, and then you can call down a Titan that comes from the sky, and then you jump in the robot, and then you can fight in your Titan. And I played this game when it finally came out on 360. It came out a month later, and I really enjoyed it on there. And eventually I did get it on Xbox One at like next year, the following year. And yeah, I really enjoyed that game, man. That game was freaking awesome. Actually, I don't think it was a year. It probably was like later on this year when I got Xbox One, honestly. 2014? I think it was later on this year. But yeah, so like Titanfall, I mean, this was cool. Like it's fast-paced shooter. You know, it was a twitch shooter, just like Call of Duty. But the whole Titan thing really just opened it up. And it was also different. They didn't have a true campaign. Like, their campaign was in the multiplayer. Like, they had people talking. So you weren't paying attention. And one time I did. Because I didn't care about dying. So I was like, I was going to look at the story. I don't remember anything I saw. It wasn't like really memorable, really. So, but I was like, I bought this game. I'm going to listen to everything that's in here. So let's say whatever. So whatever. When they talking, I'm going to stop shooting. It's like I pay attention. But yeah, and also when you're going against other teammates, like in the main mode. There's also bots. Like there's like regular soldiers that you can just kill. You get points for them. So people like me who suck. Yeah, that's cool to see like me score and get some points, because if this is like Call of Duty, I'll be like, darn, man, I don't get like one kill. Let's say, let's see, at least up there, like you got these other bots that come that you can fight soldiers, or like these robots they're not big as Titans you can shoot. But then like they'll have a bot Titan. Some Titans are bots too. That come through, and then like if the person leaves, they make him a bot, or you don't have enough people. So yeah, the game they did. It was a cool game. Like it was only multiplayer, so that's some people were a little suspect on that. But man, like see at that time that was really like, can you just have an online game? Now we know yes you can. Even your single player games. Even your single player games can be just online, where you have to always be online now, which is stupid. But anyway, man, that this really I was surprised how much I did actually like it. I didn't think I mean I knew I was gonna probably enjoy it, but I didn't think I was gonna like it that much. To really enjoy it, especially to get the 2. Because that's what I was looking for the multiplayer. I didn't even think. I mean, the single player was a surprise for 2. For me, I was like, wow, I didn't think it was gonna be that good. But I really did like Titanfall 1. You got anything you want to say about it?
No, for me, I kind of stayed away from it because it was more of a multiplayer thing and didn't really have that single player campaign. But that's why 2 was such a pleasant surprise to me.
All right, so what else we got here? We got this game on Android 3s.
Yes.
Maybe it's at the puzzle
so I
game,
highlighted
right?
this one because this one is kind of an interesting story. It's just a sliding puzzle game where you essentially have 3s pop up. It's 1s and 2s, and then you combine those to make 3s, and then you'll have 3s pop up, and you combine those to make 6s, and so on and so forth, multiples. And it had a lot of character to it. But the reason it's most notable is because this is also when you started to see clones of games that almost became bigger than the original game, because at the time, I think 3s cost like $1 or $2 or something like that, but it cost money. But at the same time, there was a game that came out shortly thereafter called 2048, which was basically just the same game, but using different numbers. And I remember that game absolutely exploding. I even had gotten it because it was the free alternative to it, and you were basically doing the same thing. And it was really like the moment where phone games, you just saw the horizon and went, oh shit, this might not be so good, because you're gonna have these people come along and basically take your gameplay idea and they can iterate on it instantly and potentially outsell you. So I thought that was worth mentioning.
That's sad. I mean, that happens. Yeah, man. Darn. I'm trying to look to see like what happened. Yeah, 2048. I see it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I wonder how they feel about those guys.
I don't know.
Like I truly do. I wonder how they feel. I wonder like they ever meet. When they meet, what do they do? They say
like, touche. You got us.
They say these. I'll try to kill them. All right. All right. So that's it for 2014. So now we're going back 20 years to 2004, and Monster Hunter came out 20 years ago, man.
Yeah.
On PlayStation 2, and I was excited for this game. Actually,
oh yeah.
Because like between that and Dragon's Dogma, like they were all announced around the same time, like as being made from Capcom, and because it sounded cool because I was reading the description about like going around hunting monsters and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So, oh yeah, that's really awesome. But I think the review for the game was like a 7 or something on Game Informer.
Nah.
No, a 5. It was a 5 out of 10.
Jeez.
So I did not like it, Daniel. So it's like, I never played it.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, whoa. I said 5 out of 10. I said, well, I guess it's not the game I thought it was, and so I'm just not going to go play it.
Right.
Yeah, and it got 68 on Metacritic overall. Edge gave it an 8 out of 10 though. Wow. So
they knew.
They knew what was coming, dang.
Yep. Connoisseurs.
Yeah. So maybe I shouldn't have looked at Game Informer. I mean, I gave it you know what? If I would have had Edge magazine, I think I would have had gotten the game. But Game Informer was my magazine of choice because you get it free when you go to GameStop, and that was the only magazine I had. So that was what I usually go by for, like, if I was going to spend money on games. So that's why I was surprised that like they did a Monster Hunter 2. Like I was shocked. I was like, well, that didn't come in America. But whatever Monster Hunter came over here, because like I think that's what happened. Monster Hunter 1 didn't sell well over here. It didn't do that well. It
became quietly big in Japan, and then got sprung back on us eventually.
And then that's what I kept reading about. I kept reading about Japan, like, oh, Japanese. I was just thinking like Japanese like bad games. I mean, we all know this. So I was like, that's like it's like so whatever. And then it became big over here. I think Monster Hunter Tries when it came back out. I forget which one. But yeah. So yeah, this is the start of Monster Hunter. I mean, but like it is looked like it was dead over here
Yeah.
after this game. It looked like it was going to be dead, and then it became not dead. Yeah. So I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only one. There was other people who thought it sucked, and hey, that probably did suck. Maybe this and they made it better,
Yeah.
but I did not. I just done into the obtuse controls, man. I mean, like I like the whole idea though, because I did have fun. I did have fun with the last one I played. The one that even like that in World, I did enjoy like chase this monster and going, but I didn't like doing the chase too long, and I didn't like the weapons how I had to equip and stuff. I was like, oh, I
Right.
wish if this made this a little simpler. The controls. I would enjoy this more. Doing this. But then I was reading like, hey, that's part of the game and things of that nature. And what I always say about Monster Hunter is that they have a great community. Like say, I always hear people say they have a great community. They even like you go to these forums and stuff that people will help you. Like they say, even a guy on Twitch who say he didn't like the game, people wasn't attacking him. They were just saying, hey, if maybe you try it this way, it will work for you. And blah blah blah. And I mean, that's nice if that's the case. I mean,
Yeah.
because I don't really interact with people like that, so I wouldn't know. But I just looked up to see like, hey man, why y'all like this game? Just like the Dark Souls stuff, like, and I can see people like I like the idea. I just don't like the controls. That's the thing. I like the controls, and now that the cats are like a big thing with it too. I don't like cats, so I'm not a cat guy. I do like that they have a wolf now. I was like, oh, at least to balance it out with the wolf. But I don't like the cat riding the wolf because I feel like no, you are insulting the wolf.
The
You
wolf
are
is a
treating
superior
you're
being.
like yeah, it's like you're treating yourself like, oh, I'm superior to the wolf. I get to ride him. I was like,
Yeah.
no, you are lower than him. You're just an asshole. That's why. That's what you are. You're not superior. You're just an asshole. Just, but anyway, but no, I like that. I'm glad that the game turned out to be as good as it is, and that's really what it's with me. It's just the controls. Like other than that, like I think I'll enjoy it. I probably want to be a huge fan like people are of it, but I do would enjoy like trying to capture a monster or something. If they just made the controls, I don't know, just easier. I mean, just normal for me. I just feel like I'm just saying, asking for normal, normal. Like nothing that's too complicated. Like I just feel like it's overcomplicate some of the weapons in there. Like it's like why? But I don't know. I mean, like I said, that mechanic that makes the game what say more I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Like you delve into the world. Like you maybe being the controls being that way, it makes it better. Like you're actually there, like trying to capture this beast. It's supposed to
like
be
more
complicated.
immersive.
I don't know. Yeah, immersive. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. All right. So where I'm at here, we got Battlefield Vietnam came out on Windows. So we're finally fighting that war now, man. That the war that should never have been fought, but
It was kind of interesting because this was like one of the first games that it felt like really one of the more mainstream titles that revisited that war, you know. So I thought that was interesting. This was also just the second Battlefield game coming off of 1942, which was, you know, a colossal success. You know, the first time we really saw like these huge multiplayer games. I think it was like 64 at the time. It's like, whoa, I can jump in a plane and, you know, dive down on these guys.
And 84 on Metacritic, which is, I mean, it's a good score. Nice. I don't think it's high as the first one.
Yeah,
I think the other one was actually higher. But yeah, let's see. Game 4 gave it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's not yet, definitely, because that the other one probably had nines and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, at least like you get more modern guns. I mean, at least more modern than definitely 1942. So I guess that's cool. You know, now you get that. And you know it's going to get closer to the future one. What the what's that future? What's the future Battlefield? The first one called 20 what?
2099.
And that was the first one. Oh, and that did turn out to be as good, right?
Or
They like
2042. That's what it was. 2042.
yeah. Well, that one didn't turn out to be as good, right? Like, was
Yeah,
that
it was
when?
definitely like a letdown. I think.
Yeah, it was a let. Yeah,
Now maybe
yeah,
2042 is not the original one that I'm thinking. No, Battlefield 2 was the more like futuristic one. That's where they
Oh,
went
that
with
was.
Battlefield 2.
Oh, that was the future. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right. Where I'm at here, we got.
No, it wasn't. God, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't remember which one it was now. Maybe
Oh,
Battlefield
okay.
3? No.
No, 3
Definitely not
was.
3. Yeah, 3
Yeah,
was
not
a
3.
console one.
I thought it was a year, like
was
a
it?
future year.
Let's see. Why
What's
don't they put
Battlefield
these
franchise?
in release order? Why would they do that to me? There's a wiki page, and then series, Battlefield, modern combat special.
2142.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Darren, look at this cover. I don't even like the cover they have of this, man.
Very Mech Warrior-esque.
Yeah, it's it got an 80 on the Metacritic. Like,
I'm a little
exactly
surprised by
80.
that, honestly, because I felt like at the time people's feelings on that game were not very high.
Edge actually gave it an 8 out of 10. They must have had some interns
You got
look
paid
at that
off
game.
there.
Your gaming gave it a lower score of 7 out of 10.
Wow.
They're usually the nicer of the European
Exactly.
magazines. But yeah, even what's the Game Informer get 8.5. Wow. Game Trails get 8.4. Yeah, it's a lot of 8s around here. 78. So, but I still, yeah, but it just seems like it wasn't as high. Say, received the Silver Sales Award. That's a Silver Sales. Yeah, that's not good. No, EA was like, what the fuck is this? Silver. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's like, you better get this gold. All right. So where are we at here? We got Wade Hickston's Counter Punch on the Game Boy Advance. So tell me what the hell that is, Daniel.
Yeah, so this is basically like a Punch-Out clone that came out on the Game Boy Advance, and anybody who was looking for like a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out-esque game up until that point, I think this is before we saw like the return of it on the Wii and stuff like that. This was a really good alternative for that, and I remember playing this game back when it came out and thinking it was really cool.
Okay, man, that's neat, man.
It has really good art. It has, you know, kind of the same Punch-Out style, kind of what is caricatures of different people from around the world.
Well, I see a gorilla in here, Daniel.
Yeah. It definitely it like cartoonized it a lot more too. It wasn't so much I guess what you would consider more of a down to earth portrayal in the Punch-Out games, even though I think those are obviously exaggerated too. But yeah, this one took it a little bit further, but it's really cool.
All right. So now we go to last but not least, Unreal Tournament 2004 came out on Windows. Wow, that's big. Battlefield, Vietnam, and Unreal Tournament came out within the same week.
That's kind of wild.
Two shooters, you know, going at it, man. So Unreal Tournament 2004. I don't know much about. Like, I don't really know a lot about Unreal Tournament. But I know that they were popular.
Yes.
But I can't tell you the difference between this one and 2003 because I didn't play them, so I do not know. But it did get really good reviews. This one, it got 93 on Metacritic. I ain't seeing no 8s in these goddamn like publications. I mean, I see 4 stars by Games Radar. They get 4 stars. I think that's probably the lowest score, really. But yeah, man. Apparently this is really an awesome game, man. And it did come. Did it come on? Nah, this one didn't never come on Xbox. So, but
this was the real man's game, Dominic.
It came on the Mac though, Daniel.
We had to appease them.
Yeah. That's when I think we were having those commercials, like I'm Mac and I'm PC commercials. Then, yeah, I was a little jealous of Unreal because I always thought it looked good. Like, I always thought, like, man, these models look really good. Especially when even the Xbox one, I saw the screenshots, I was like, oh yeah, it's really good. Compared to like the PlayStation games I playing, but now I know, like, man, I would have not enjoyed the game at all because I would have been killed, like I could get no kills or anything, and then I would have realized, oh, there's no single player, and the single player was bots, basically. But yeah, so yeah, that was a big week, man, for games. So that's pretty cool. We'll take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. So let's get to the gaming news. What do we got there?
All right, Dominic. March 10th was a Mario Day, and along with that came some announcements. Nothing entirely
March
huge.
10th?
MA10 IO, basically. Spells out Mario when you abbreviate it. So, yeah, the past couple of years, they've been doing stuff for it. This year, mainly, we got some announcements, release dates of games that we already knew about. The next Mario movie is coming out in 2026. Nothing really announced further than that, though. And then Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, that remaster is coming out May 23rd. And Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is coming out June 27th. So that kind of fills out the beginning of Nintendo's year so far. And then kind of the surprise was Dr. Mario, Mario Tennis, and Mario Golf for the Game Boy Color all came to the Nintendo Switch Online, which I have heaped tons of praise on Mario Golf. Mario Tennis is also similarly good for the Game Boy Color. It's also an RPG, but Mario Golf is the one that really kind of did it for me. It's got RPG elements. You go through this little world where you're going around talking to different characters. You'll play golf mini games to increase your skills, and then you'll get into larger tournaments, and then you can beat Mario and his friends and get more skills and become a better, more powerful golfer. So I thought that was really cool back in the day.
Yeah, that is really cool, man.
I'm excited to maybe revisit that a little bit.
And Dr. Mario, that's on Game Boy Color also?
Yeah, I believe that's the Game Boy Color one, or is that?
Yeah, well, is that Game Boy Color one, or is it just Game Boy and you can play it in color?
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
I think it must be the Game Boy Color one, because was there a Dr. Mario for regular Game Boy? There was, of course there was.
I was about to say.
It just seems like such a weird game because, it's kind of like Tetris, but of course there's a Tetris for.
Yeah.
Of course, Tetris is more about shapes than. For me, Dr. Mario, I always think about like the red and the yellow and the blue being like an important factor of that game, but I guess,
I just know like it was like Tetris, and I was like, oh, I don't want this game. And I'm glad that I didn't tell my parents to get it.
Yeah.
Because I looked at the back of that box, I was like, oh, nah, I don't want this shit. And just like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I was like, oh, that's a Mario pill game. So I was like, nah, I don't want that.
Yep. And trying everything back in the day. All right. Speaking of different takes on.
Hold on. Back to the like Mario movie in 2026. Yeah. Like another movie which upsets me, the new Batman movie has been delayed till 2026.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I mean,
I'm like,
of course I saw it, but
like what the hell, man? What's going on? I can't wait that long. I can't. Damn, 2026. I feel like that's too far away from that movie.
What year did that movie come out? Was that 2021?
Was either 2021 or 2022. It's either 22 or 21. It wasn't 2020.
Oh, okay. The Batman.
I feel like maybe it's 2022.
22. Yeah.
Okay.
22. Yeah, that is quite the ways away.
4 years.
By that time, Robert Pattinson's gonna be an old man.
Yeah.
What are they doing? All right, Dominic. Let's see. Next up, we've got Angry Birds and Sonic. There's finally going to be crossover there. We talked last year about how Sega purchased Rovio, the Angry Birds company. And we're finally kind of seeing the spawn of that, mostly in mobile game form. Not entirely surprising. But there's a Sonic Forces game on mobile, which I did not know about. And then there's Sonic Dash, both which seem kind of like Infinite Runner type games starring Sonic. The Red Bird is going to be in there. His name's Red. And then in Angry Birds games, there's Angry Birds Friends, Angry Birds 2, and then Angry Birds, some kind of puzzle-esque game, like a Tetris style thing. And Sonic is going to be in those. So like you can get a Sonic hat in Angry Birds. So your bird looks kind of Sonic like. That's kind of cute. I wonder if we start to see, Angry Birds show up in more of the mainline Sonic stuff. Like when this Sonic and Shadow Generations comes out, if we see some Angry Birds stuff in there. Really, it feels like it's just time to maybe see Angry Birds.
I don't give a fuck because that's shitty ass Sonic anyway, man. And put them all in there. And I don't care. Hope is like those people who are hardcore Sonic fans with that new kind of Sonic. They be angry. I say, yeah, take that. Yeah, they got the Angry Birds. Just put all the Angry Birds in there.
See what you did to this franchise.
Yeah, I hope they all shit on them. I hope they all the Angry Birds, all this shit, and he's a bunch of bird poop on them. It's just.
Sonic won't get caught, Dominic. He's too fast. All right, next up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection is being delisted from Steam in Japan. Now, right now, this is only Japan, and that's going to happen on March 29th. But it seems kind of weird that, less than 2 years from this game coming out, it came out in August of 2022, like this game already being delisted in some ways. And
yeah, I don't.
You'll have your proponents of like digital only. This is happening to you, but like we're not about that here. But like, why? Why is this happening?
Exactly. Like I'm like, wait a minute, is this always going to be a thing with Turtles? Is this like license? Like it's like
it really does feel like more for Turtles than anybody. That's what it happens to, right?
Yes, it's ridiculous.
I guess here's my question. Is it Turtles or is it because of Konami? Because they're usually the ones releasing these games, right?
I'm trying to think.
I wonder who's the negligent party here.
Well, I don't know. Who was Konami publishing the one that was done by Platinum Games?
Like the arcade one? I think so.
No, the Platinum Games one was the one that was the 3D one.
That was the 3D, yeah.
That was like the Transformers one, but it was worse. It was a whole lot worse. Transformers was actually all right.
Yeah, I like the Transformers. Let's see. No, actually, the publisher of that one was Activision. So maybe it is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles problem. That's so weird.
Yeah, it is bad. I mean, it's bad that like you can't like you. Daniel, it's not. Yeah, like you said, it's not even 2 years. Like it. Come on, you really you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
You had that short a time.
You're making these very short-term deals, apparently. It's very odd. I don't know. That's what I'd be more concerned about than the like digital versus physical only is like, why are these deals happening with like such short-term negotiations in play? Like why? That seems so weird. And in this case, like, why specifically Japan? Why? I mean, that's why I feel like I guess we should be talking about this is because, like, does that mean very soon we will be seeing it delisted in the States as well, Like, what's stopping that from happening? So.
Yeah, even if it is it just because it's a Japanese developer messing with it, though? I wonder.
Yeah.
What if it was developed over here by an American company? Like, will they have this problem?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because even Platinum's a Japanese company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, next up, Dominic, we got Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. That is the relatively recent release of the Metroidvania-esque Prince of Persia game. That is going to get a speedrun mode, a permadeath mode, and a new outfit on March 13th. And then they basically laid out their roadmap for DLC going forward. And that's going to be free. And then there's going to be a boss attack mode and then combat and platforming and puzzle challenges. I guess that's part of the game as well. That's going to come in spring and summer, respectively. And that stuff is also going to all be free. And then there's going to be new story DLC coming out later this year, allegedly, that will not be free. So that's unfortunate. But it's pretty cool that they're adding all the other stuff, especially, like, for me, it's not really interesting, but the speedrunning stuff from, like, an awesome games done quick thing, I would be excited to see that game in that form, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be cool. Any news on the Prince of Persia, HD one? The remake?
No, I haven't seen anything about that game since basically, like, did it switch studios or whatever? Basically, once they originally delayed it that one time, it was like, it's going to go under wraps. And I feel like everybody's just, like, trying their best to work on it and make that game what everybody actually wanted. That, or it secretly just gets canceled, you know?
No, or just like Beyond Good and Evil.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to work on this, guys. So, yeah, unfortunately nothing new for that, but it's cool to see that this game came out as something new and different and seems to have been pretty successful. All right, Dominic, we talked about it last week, the return of Multiverses, but it has now officially been confirmed. It is coming out May 28th. They've teased some new levels and possibly some new characters, Dexter's Laboratory and Powerpuff Girls. I think those are both pretty solid wells to pull from, especially from someone who that would be nostalgic for, basically, you know.
Wait a minute, which Powerpuff Girls? There was a new Powerpuff Girls.
Oh no, is there a new Powerpuff Girls? Did they change our Powerpuff Girls, Dominic?
Yes.
I don't know. Just give me some fuzzy lumpkins. I think it would be a fun character. I mean, obviously you pick one of or three of the. They could do something like weird, like Ice Climber-esque. I mean, they did that with one of the characters that's already in there, right? Tom and Jerry. Did they do that with them, where it's like a dual character? Yeah,
I don't know. Because I don't think I ever faced them.
Gotcha.
But. Yeah, they could. I guess you could do something like that.
Or you could like switch between the three or something.
They definitely got. I want more JoJo Joe, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I could see that being cool. I don't know how I feel. Like, I hope from a developers working on this game point of view that this game is a success. From a Warner Brothers standpoint, like, who cares? Fuck them, basically. I hope this game can find an audience, and for the people that liked and enjoyed that game through the beta and spent money on it to
I hope they can get something for that. Like, I'm curious about that. Like, the people who did buy stuff, can they get their characters back?
Oh, I would hope so. I mean, that's not something that I would even question. Although now that you say it, maybe I do need to question it. But I would hope all that stuff is there for them, since it's, they paid for it already. But we shall see how that launches. I wonder if it's even gonna have like big first week numbers, or if it's gonna kind of fall flat on its face.
Yeah, I kind of wish it was. I mean, I'm okay with it being free to play. Though I do wish there was some type of single player thing, whatever. But but I feel like, hey, this is a safe bet. Like, I don't have to pay money for. I had to buy the game. I can just go in and play.
Yeah. I think they need to. They really need to, one, have a lot of content when this game drops, like new content to bring the audience back. And I also feel like they need to maybe revisit the way that they are incentivizing people to spend money in that game, because it definitely feels like maybe they've gone too far with it. Like, obviously, I think the rotation of characters is a good idea. Obviously, you don't want to lock it all behind, because the reality is, like with fighting games, like I mentioned with Mortal Kombat, some people need to be given the opportunity to find the character that they like to play as. It's not just like, oh, I like to play this game. Sometimes it is, oh, I like to play this game as this person, and these other characters aren't as fun. So they definitely need to have that. And yeah, I like the way they monetize this. I feel like they definitely need to keep an eye on to keep this game thriving and not just be looked at as kind of this like money pit where, you know, a couple of people who really enjoy this game are going to give you a couple $100 right off the bat, and then it's going to fade into obscurity almost instantly. So we shall see. Another story that we talked about last week, Dominic, basically as rumors or reports initially, and now has been confirmed, Saber Interactive has freed itself from the Embracer Group in a $500 million deal. They also had the option to take some other companies along with them, basically, and it sounds like they got the Zen Pinball company, so maybe we'll see some games coming out of them as well.
Saber Interactive are they saying Saber who do no that never mind. I was thinking of something else.
Yeah, they're the ones that were working on the Knights of the Old Republic. They also did Space Marines. There's a lot of games that they're associated with.
Yeah.
I think like that Mud Runner game that came out, the Expeditions, when they came out last week, I think they had a part in that as well. But again, like to reiterate from what we talked about last week, I think it's very nice to see these studios able to split away and get away from Embracer after what seemed like a disastrous move by them, you know, picking up all these companies to begin with.
How many years ago was that when they picked them up?
Oh, geez. What was it? Let's see if they have it in this article here. No, they don't have it right there. Because that's what a lot of people were talking about, is like how much money it was that Embracer spent to buy them, and how basically little they're getting back. It's kind of crazy. So I think it was like a $1 billion deal or something like that. Let's see. Of course, all the news stories now are just going to be, you know, from them splitting out. Yeah, I can't find.
Oh, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, no, 2020. It was just 2 years or 4 years. God, 4 years ago. I like the idea of it only being 2 years ago.
4 years ago. Damn, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and through that time though, it's been not a lot at all.
No, not
like nothing's really been. Yeah.
No, there hasn't been anything huge that has come out of Embracer in the years, even in the years period. Basically, you know, they had Dead Island 2 is kind of a big one that it actually did finally release, and then Saints Row, which, you know, absolutely bombed. So you know, it's kind of crazy. I guess Tiny Tina's is technically part of them too, the Wonderland game. So they've had some things release, but nothing of any real prominence. You know,
I keep
Space
forgetting
Marines
that
2
they
coming
broke up from 2K.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of
Tiny
weird.
Tina. Yeah, the Borderlands.
Yeah, Gearbox.
So they're just by themselves now. They haven't gotten with anybody.
Who, Gearbox?
Yeah, or are they still part of Embracer?
They're
group
still
and
under
trying to
Embracer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just rumors right now that they may be splitting out from them. But considering that the other rumors coming out of this have already been true, I would not at all be surprised, because I mean, I think Embracer is just as much. They're basically doing the reverse of what they did. They acquired all these studios and then realized that they weren't going to make the money off of them that they thought they were. And now there's going to be like this mass evacuation from them, and they're just going to kind of embrace that too. And it's like, all right, yeah, we're going to sell these guys off because we're not making money from them because we poorly manage them. So, yeah. All right. Speaking of poor management, Dominic, Starbreeze Studios CEO Tobias Jorgen has left following the launch of Payday 3. Basically, that has been an absolute mess. People, I think the play rate for Payday 2 is still like substantially larger than it is for Payday 3. And I think that's just a result of the content that people want to play not being there and the improvements not being worth it. So, finally we're seeing some consequences for some of these people in management that are making choices. I don't know if he's the guy that pushed forward this, but he's going to be the head on the plate, it seems like.
I forgot this game came out.
Exactly. Yeah, so hopefully they can find a new CEO that maybe pulls them out of this, because it's really unfortunate that, they struggled as much as they did with the launch of Payday 3. So
yeah, I mean, at the success of Payday 2, man, it's like, yo, you come on, man. These people are just dropping balls, man. Like dropping the ball with these successful franchises.
Yeah.
And just not knowing how to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
It was making you think that it was all a mistake. I mean, not a mistake. It was like it was a happy accident that they was good in the first place. It's like, oh, shit.
Quite possibly. Exactly. Yeah. So that's, maybe we'll start seeing this at some of these bigger studios. I have my doubts, but, maybe we'll start seeing some consequences for the people that are making these decisions and costing a lot of people their jobs. All right, Dominic, last one I got here. There is a new leak of the PS5 Pro specs. It seems like it's pretty solidly confirmed. Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming, who is a name that I have heard, with respectable reports in the past, he's confirmed that he has seen this stuff. And basically, what it's saying is 67 teraflops, 16-bit floating point calculations. That's a whole bunch. The existing PS5 is 10.28 teraflops. So that is a significant, increase there. Allegedly will offer 3 times the ray tracing performance. And I think a lot of it is also going to work around what they're calling a PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, which is basically like NVIDIA's DLSS, where it takes, a larger resolution image or a larger resolution image and scales it down to a smaller resolution. So it basically uses less power to have a better image. And I think that should be interesting if that is in fact the case, because that would theoretically mean it would require less power to make a game look better, which means if you couple that with a much more powerful system, that you could get some really impressive results. But, we've had this conversation a ton of times already. It doesn't feel like developers are utilizing the power in these new consoles or even in top-of-the-line PCs as much as they could, because we're seeing games that we almost would have expected out of an Xbox One or a PS4 with maybe just a bump in resolution, essentially. And couple that with the idea that this could potentially be launching in November of this year, or, holiday of this year, I guess it should say, with Sony not having any of their big like series hitters. I don't know, maybe they'll surprise announce like a new franchise, but if they don't have any game to couple with this, like what are they hoping to sell this on the back of? Is it just people that already own a PS5 and bought into the ecosystem, hopefully getting better performance out of the games that they've been playing that they haven't seen the performance out of that they've wanted? Kind of like why I've actually supported the idea of a Switch Pro. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why they bringing it out.
Yeah.
That and maybe I don't know how they're gonna promote it. They're gonna like promote, say, hey, it's the most powerful system out there. Like games will run better on this. They will look better on this. And
we can run Final Fantasy Rebirth off of one disc from this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's about it. And for me, that's not enough because that's like, dude. Then because now it's pissing me off now because now this is what y'all doing. Y'all doing this stopgap stuff when I don't know. Either I'm not saying that this should have been a system that came out first. But like I just feel like you said, I just feel like y'all ain't taking advantage of the systems y'all have. That's what y'all doing. Y'all just doing these upgraded systems, but not taking full advantage of what these are. You're not, and because I don't think because now it was an argument for the systems being underpowered last generation. Because I feel
Absolutely.
like the systems they probably came out with the stopgap should have been the ones they probably came out with.
Yeah, but they were so scared that mobile gaming had basically eaten the entire console's lunch that they didn't really prepare. It feels like for launching consoles.
Like it took so long for them to do a new system, and then they came up with that, and then it's like, come on, man, it's like, what are you doing? Then now with this. I'm like, nah, man, y'all ain't take advantage because y'all talk about how powerful these systems were. Like, I mean, Xbox is the most powerful one, and PlayStation, I mean, they got power enough. And I'm not saying it. You telling me I have to get another system now for me to see what the hell y'all been preaching?
Yeah, see the potential of the next generation actually being fulfilled.
Because I did not see, I didn't see no next generation this with these games. The only thing I saw, it load faster. I mean that's good, but that's not enough. And that's not enough. That is definitely not enough for me to get another system now when they still can be played on this last system y'all have out. No, I'm not going to be getting like a PS5 Pro or when I can just get a PS5. I mean,
yeah.
If I already had a PS5, I'm not gonna get a PS5 Pro. So I need to start making games for this system then. This is a joke. I said like a lot of your games. I said, wait a minute, that's not fair. I said a lot of your games were on the PS4, and now you're coming with the PS5 Pro. Like we didn't even get enough games to say like, oh, this only could be played on a PS5.
Yeah, because even the biggest ones like Horizon Forbidden West and God of War both appeared on the PS4. In a state that I don't recall anybody saying, like, this is ridiculous, this doesn't run well at all, like we saw with, like, DS versus new 3DS games or something like that, you know?
Yeah, they release well. I mean, but this, that, you just told me, like, well, these systems... I said, well, because I'm supposed to look at it as that, oh man, these games look this good and they can be played on PS4. Just imagine if they would just actually be just made for this system.
No.
Using its power. Haven't seen it yet. Mm-hmm. And looks like y'all ain't gonna even try.
Yeah. I would be interested to see like a developer's perspective on this. Like, do they think they're taking full advantage of that hardware right now, or is it time, money concerns that are constraining developers and keeping them from optimizing these games in a way that they could and put out on this hardware in a way where we could see a 4K image at 120 without having to dip into the pro level of things, or is the reality that they weren't as powerful as maybe we were told they were, or something that.
That's what I want to know. Like, was this another instance of the PS4 Xbox One where it's like, oh, they should have did something more?
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see when this actually gets announced, if it does, and I want to see people's reaction to it more so than anything. Even in our kind of gaming bubble, will we be seeing places and people like excited about this? Because I mean, it's interesting thinking back, even when we saw those pros and Project Scorpios and whatnot come out. A lot of outlets weren't necessarily like talking about it much. Like, I think they for the most part quietly switched over, because that's part of what they do. It's their business, so of course they're going to get the brand new thing.
Yeah.
But I still feel like especially the smaller outlets where I usually find myself listening to, like Giant Bomb. I think a lot of that staff, especially because by then we were getting to the point where almost, COVID hit and they were splitting out of the office. So they didn't have the hardware at the office to use. Those guys were still using the base levels and not the pros necessarily.
Oh, at their homes. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I didn't think about that. But the podcast I used to listen to was the Xbox podcast on IGN. Mm-hmm. Like, it seemed like not all of them switched over. I think there's only one guy said like, hey, this is nice, but he said he's just gonna wait for the next big thing.
Right.
But they were telling us like it was running like so much faster than what the Xbox One is, because I was like, yeah, Xbox One, my Xbox One is going to the menu because of the updates that they have done. That it made it slower, so that those updates made it better on the Xbox One X, and but yeah, and they say like, oh yeah, this game it looks a little like, it looks somewhat better or something like that, and it can run on this, like it can do this, and then it kind of loads a little faster. And I said, oh, okay, that sounds real nice, but it wasn't enough for me to go get a Series X. Like, the only thing I was like jealous of was that, man, like, it load faster. That's what I just is mad about. Like, or it runs, well, not load faster. It runs the dashboard runs better. That's what was bad. It's like, darn, yeah, I want my dashboard just to run like that. But that dashboard wasn't going to get a whole new system just for that. I said, shit.
Yeah, absolutely. But that also makes you wonder, is that like basically forced obsolescence then? Because they're designing this software that's supposed to run across both of these things with that higher spec thing in mind, and they don't really care how it performs on the other one.
Which I feel like, I say, y'all need to work. Like, get something that makes it, like, this can't be the same thing as that one then. It can't have the same dashboard. It can't, it's like, that's not fair. It's like, that my system has to be all slow because you're just, you're not really optimizing for my system. You're really just doing it for the higher spec one. Mm-hmm. I said, nah, man, because you still making, like, these, it's basically the same system. It's like, that's not fair. Like, y'all should have, they really should have changed that. That's not, they should have did something with that. They should have said, like, that dashboard is going to be different. But Xbox One's still going to have a certain dashboard where they can run.
It's going to be scaled back.
Optimal. Like it's going to be optimal for that system.
Yeah. All right, Dominic, did you see any other news worth talking about this week?
Nah, man. I'm good.
All right. With that, we will get into new releases. Not much here either. Contra Operation Gulaga. That's now out on the PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. I did play a very little bit of the demo of that on the Switch, actually, just this morning. It seemed fine. I've never been much of a Contra person, though, so...
Yeah, I mean, from what I read in reviews, it's just, like, middling to fine. Like, nothing great. That's why I didn't even bother. To try the demo. Because I was just hoping that it was something like really big and like you say, oh, this is really good. Yeah, Contra. Well, Contra, I just go remember it as like I like playing with somebody when I play it. That's basically it. The first game. So I wouldn't say I was a fan. I mean, I liked the game. It was a game my brother had, and you could play 2 players. So there you go. I mean, it was fun.
Exactly.
But I mean, yeah, I never stood with the series because the next time it really came out was Super Nintendo, and I have a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
What else we got?
All right, the other game we have here is Llama Soft, the Jeff Minter story. That's out on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Nintendo Switch. That's basically, it's kind of like the Atari 50 collection, where it's a documentary / playable games. Jeff Minter is a guy who worked on like Tempest and Tempest 2000, and more recently did Space Draft, which is like a kind of Tempest style thing.
Tempest, I know what Tempest is.
Yeah, it's the like corridor kind of thing, like funnel shooter, I think they're called, or something like that, where you're a spaceship at the edge of the screen and you're shooting down like into the middle.
That was cool.
It sounds like it's all right. You know, it's from Digital Eclipse. They're the ones that do that stuff the best, where it's
look at Tempest 4000.
That's what happens when you run out of years. But that seems all right. It seems pretty cool. Something similar to Atari 50, which, you know, maybe as I get older and the collections of games move into more of like what I was playing, you know, I'll have a greater appreciation for some of this stuff. But yeah, that's it for the week though, Dominic. It's a pretty light week. So
all right. So I guess we wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap this bad boy up. Thank you guys as always for listening. You can check us out on Twitter. Dominic is at DStallworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Superpod, SUPAPOD. Superpod.com is the website. You can check us out there. Has links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, basically any place you find an audio podcast, we will be there. And until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later.
All right, see ya.